Good evening. It's the Young Millionaire in Training. I'm back tonight. We're going to be talking about credit cards. If credit cards are good or bad. And my answer to that question is it's like a gun, money, a weapon, really anything. It depends on whose hand it's in. If you don't know what you're doing, it's bad. If you know what you're doing, they're an awesome tool for so many different reasons. So they're definitely very useful when you need it. So they're neither good nor bad, like most inanimate objects. Depends on whose hand they're in. They have certain pros, certain cons. Some of the pros, when you correctly use the utilization that comes with them, sometimes you hear 15, 20%. I personally say 15%, but you can go as high as 20. The important thing is to never go over 50% utilization on your credit cards or any revolving lines of credit, as credit cards are and things of that nature. And what utilization is, just to give you an example, if you have a $5,000 limit on your credit card, you should spend no more than 2,500 at any point in time with it. Or if you have $1,000 limit, you should spend no more than $500 at any point in time. But it's more ideal to keep it somewhere around $150 to $200. If you have that limit, that's ideal by the time your statement cycle comes around, which is something that's very important. Find out when your statement cycle is on your bill. It'll always be there. You can find it online. You can find it on your actual bill. Call them up and ask. It'll be worth the time, honestly. And make sure that you always pay it and get it to a certain level prior to that statement date. The due date is always after the statement is put out, but that statement date is what affects the utilization and what affects the balance and how it affects your credit score. So make sure you always pay it before your statement date and give it time to clear. So normally 48 hours at least before your statement date, so that way it can affect your credit the best. Let's not say affect, that way it can impact your credit in the best manner. Okay. Um, Also, I want to talk about secured and unsecured cards. So a lot of times, everybody, of course, you want an unsecured card, just because why would you want to have to put out money um, if you don't have to? However, sometimes you need to do it for your own personal incentive. A lot of people usually see the secured cards when it comes to trying to rebuild your credit, where a lot of credit card companies or lenders, they won't give you an unsecured card. They give you a secured card. And what a secured card is you put $200, you put a $200 deposit, and they give you a $200 credit limit. And then after you pay it for a certain amount of time, they take the deposit, or they give you the deposit back, and now you have an unsecured card if you pay it favorably and your credit score becomes favorable. Um, this I suggest everybody get a secured card, or whatever the case may be, um, just to get into the habit of using them. When it comes to using them for certain things, is a number of different things. I personally don't like to buy gas with mine. Some people do, and it's okay, especially if you pay it before this statement date, as I stated earlier. I just feel like the price of gas is already high enough, so I'm not trying to pay any interest on gas if I can help it. So I don't personally like to use it for gas, but there's nothing wrong with that. There's really nothing wrong with using it for anything if you're using it responsibly. Um, I even suggest you can use it for certain bills that you know you're going to have the money for anyway. Don't spend your bill money and put it on the credit card, but you can do it that way, and that way you can keep that utilization. You can use it and show that you're using it, because your credit card company still want to see that you are using it. So you want to have some form of utilization on it, at least every other month, if not every month, when that statement date hits. So I suggest a bill. I personally like to pay like something like a light bill with it. Something that's $150, something low that you know that you would have the money for anyway. And maybe I'll pay it this month, and then I'll pay it next month, and then I'll pay 1 month back, which hits my utilization limit if I had $1,000 limit, for instance. And it still hits my utilization on it, and it'll free up $150 for you for the month to save or invest, not to go out and necessarily splurge with. That's always the tricky part. When you get quote unquote extra money, for the record, I do not believe in extra money. If you're not debt free, you don't have any extra money. Just that simple. Because you could be putting that money somewhere and utilizing it correctly to either pay off some debt or create some more money to pay off the debt. So if you say to me, I have so and so extra money, my next question is always going to be, are you debt free? If you're not debt free, zero balance, then there's no such thing as extra money in my mind. Also, there are different and effective ways to pay off credit card debt. If you just find yourself deep in credit card debt, there's a couple of different things. I'm just going to touch on them. I'm going to do a more in-depth video kind of explaining how to do these, but you want to find the highest interest rate cards and possibly do balance transfers to lower rate cards. Pay off cards with low balances. So if you only have $100 on one, go ahead and knock that one out. And then start focusing all the money to your bigger cards. The reason you want to do this is just because you don't want to stretch yourself thin, for lack of a better term. If you're making minimum payments on 3 cards, if you can knock one card out, that's an extra minimum payment that you can be putting towards one of the other cards. The other one, if you own your home and you have any equity in it, generally the equity rates, any rates that you get on the equity in your home is going to be lower than credit card rates. Credit card rates they can be low, but for the general public, they're anywhere from 17 to about 25%. Equity products are anywhere from 4%. You can even get what's called teaser rates sometimes for even lower than 4%. From 4% to, we'd say max out at 10, just so I'm being lenient with it. I don't want to quote you anything wrong and you go and say the young millionaire in training told me I should get this. I'm like, that's not what I said. But equity, you can roll it up. Also, that alleviates payments. Now you have one payment for just your house. And you're not making multiple different payments to a whole lot of different places. So that's just a few little strategies. And I'm going to make another video soon, real soon, about how to get out of debt, how to get out of credit card debt. I'm just going to kind of roll them all up together so you have it all in one place. In the meantime, follow my Instagram, Young Millionaire in Training. Follow my Facebook, Young Millionaire in Training, and the YouTube, Young Millionaire in Training. If you have any questions, please feel free to inbox me. Leave the question under videos. Any kind of way you can contact me, post it on my wall. It doesn't matter. Text me if you have my number. I give my number out pretty much anybody about business related situations and deals. So feel free to hit me up anytime. And you all have a good night.